HAZBIN Hotel Season 3 is hiding its release date like a loaded secret, and the clues left behind are way louder than people think, because after that explosive season to finale, everything points to one timeline. And it's closer and darker than anyone expected. Season 2 didn't just end, it detonated. Vox is gone. Valentino is circling like a vulture, the hotel is barely standing. And Charlie just made the most dangerous phone call of her life. And right in the middle of all this chaos, fans are asking the one question that refuses to calm down: when is Season 3 coming? And the crazy part, the answer is already hiding in plain sight. You just have to look at the pattern the show has been following since the beginning. Here's the first thing people don't realize: HAZBIN Hotel is not just any animated series. The production behind it is huge, massive musical numbers, high detail, action shots, layered emotional scenes, and a cast with some of the most expressive designs in modern animation. None of that happens fast. Season 1 dropped in 2024, Season 2 dropped in 2025, a clean 1-year gap. But that doesn't mean Season 3 is coming in 2026. That timeline only works when the team already has a huge chunk of the next season planned ahead. Season 2's ending tells you clearly, this is a whole new story direction, new villains, new lore, new locations, new heaven-hell dynamics. That means new pre-production, new storyboarding, new music, new everything, and that alone adds months. But here's where it gets interesting. Vivz Pop and A24 haven't officially confirmed Season 3 yet, not because they're unsure, but because studios wait for the right moment. The viewership is massive, the hype is global, and the Season 2 finale ends on a cliffhanger so sharp it literally demands a continuation. No studio accidentally builds a story this big without planning the next chapter. The silence isn't doubt, it's strategy. Now, let's break down the timeline in a way that actually makes sense. Season 1 began production years before release. Season 2, however, had a shorter cycle because the world of the show was already built. The locations, the character rigs, the musical style, the pipelines, they already existed. Season 3 will reuse some of that, but it also needs fresh assets, especially with where the story is going. Charlie's mother entering the story means entirely new worlds, new designs, and a shift in tone that is way darker and far more cosmic. The heaven versus hell tension is reaching the breaking point, and animation for large-scale battles demands more time than character-driven storylines. And if they're expanding heaven's side of the story, that's even more new designs and environments that need to be built from scratch. Because of that, the most realistic prediction lands between late 2026 and early 2027. This isn't a guess, it's a reflection of how long a season of this size takes to produce. Writing alone can eat months, storyboarding takes even longer. The visuals for HAZBIN aren't simple. They're bright, dynamic, chaotic, full of movement and expression. Each scene has dozens of small details the average viewer never notices, but makes the world feel alive. Then you add voice acting, music composition, choreography for musical numbers, animation cleanup, FX pauses, compositing, editing. The list never ends. And that's exactly why Season 3 cannot just drop out of nowhere next year. They need the time to make it the biggest season yet. But here's what fans really need to understand. Season 2 didn't just set up a continuation, it set up a transformation. All of hell is shifting, heaven is unstable, Lucifer's secrets are collapsing. Charlie is on the edge of discovering the truth about her mother. The V's are about to rise higher than ever before. Angel Dust is damaged emotionally in a way we've never seen, and Alastair, he finally has no chains. All of these storylines require more development, more animation, and more emotional payoff. The team cannot rush that. They know fans will wait as long as the payoff hits hard. Season 3 also has the potential to introduce some of the biggest scenes in the entire franchise: full angelic armies entering hell, Faggy confronting her past and her connection to heaven, Charlie unlocking parts of her heritage she never wanted to face, the hotel becoming the center of a supernatural war, and of course, the long-awaited moment where the audience finally sees Charlie's mother in full. These aren't simple scenes, they're multi-layered, dialogue-heavy, visually explosive events that demand time and precision. So when fans ask, why isn't there an official release date yet? The answer is simple: they're working. They're building, they're expanding the world into something bigger than any season before it. And once the renewal is publicly announced, that timeline will drop exactly into the late 2026 to early 2027 window. That's the cycle that fits the pacing, the workload, and the scale of what Season 3 is clearly setting up. Season 2 may be over, but Season 3's engine is already turning, quietly, slowly, and with way more heat than people think. Season 3 isn't just another chapter, it's the moment HAZBIN Hotel finally steps into the storyline it's been hinting at since episode 1. And the biggest clue comes from the final minutes of season 2. When Charlie does the one thing nobody ever expected. She calls her mother. That single moment shifts the entire timeline. Because the show has been building her up like a myth, a threat. A force everyone fears, even Lucifer himself. And when a character that powerful enters the story, production has to expand. New lore, new animation, new environments, new cosmic rules. All of this pushes the release window further. But it also confirms something major. Season 3 is designed to be the biggest visual and emotional leap the series has ever made, and here's the crazy part: season 2 secretly prepares for it. Every storyline spirals into a direction that screams massive upgrade. Heaven is falling apart. The angels are unstable, their leadership is cracking. The exorcists are losing control and turning erratic, and Vaggy's past, it's now tied directly to the brewing heaven-hell conflict. Every piece of this setup demands large-scale scenes, wide shots, battle animation, high-intensity sequences that take months to polish. So when fans wonder why Season 3 needs more time, the answer lies right there in the story. They're not just animating episodes, they're animating a war, asterisk. But before diving deeper, let's look at the pattern again. Season 1 was fiery, bright, chaotic, and flashy. Season 2 was heavier, darker, more emotional, and way more violent. That escalation is intentional. HAZBIN Hotel grows with its story as the stakes rise. The art style shifts, the choreography becomes sharper. The emotional scenes slow down to hit harder. And Season 3, with Charlie's mother stepping in, demands an even more intense tone. That means new animation techniques, new music compositions, and new lighting styles. The studio cannot maintain the same release pace when the scale is leveling up this fast. Now let's talk about the moment everyone keeps whispering about: Vox's death. Removing a villain that big doesn't simplify the story, it complicates it, because now Velvet and Valentino are free to dominate everything. He controlled media, influence, surveillance, and the entire digital structure of hell. Season 3 will follow their rise, and that storyline requires multi-layered scenes of power shifts, manipulation, and new territory being taken. More characters will become involved, more environments will be needed, and the show's animation team will be dealing with more moving parts literally. The V's are loud characters with flashy visuals, and their style alone demands high effort. Work. Then there's Angel Dust. His arc is about to explode in Season 3. The Episode 8 reveal that he was hypnotized and used as a spy isn't just emotional. It's a turning point. Season 3 has to animate the aftermath, his guilt, his fear, Valentino hunting him down again, his attempt to break free from trauma, and his struggle to earn trust back from the hotel. All of that requires scenes filled with emotion, shadows, facial expressions, small character details, things that take longer to animate than action sequences. Because emotion requires precision, every eye movement, every gesture, every silence. Angel's story is becoming one of the heaviest in the series, and that pushes the production time even further. But let's not forget the wild card of the entire show, Alastair. Now that he's free, no deals, no chains, no contracts, he is the biggest narrative risk the show has. Why? Because he's unpredictable. Because he's powerful. Because the audience doesn't know whether he's going to help Charlie or destroy everything she's built, and whatever direction he takes. The show needs brand new scenes showcasing his magic at full strength. And Alastair's power isn't simple animation, it's stylized, intense, and full of visual effects. That alone adds more time to the production of Season 3. So when people ask, why is there still no announcement? The truth is simple: A24 and the HAZBIN team are preparing for a season that's way more ambitious than the last two. They're stacking up the storylines, building new worlds, and pushing every character toward their biggest moment. And an announcement for a season of this scale only drops when the foundation is ready, when the writing is solid, when the production timeline is locked, and when the studio knows they can deliver it without rushing any part of the process. But the most important detail, the one nobody should ignore, is this: Season 2 ends in a way that leaves zero chance of cancellation. Every major storyline is unfinished. Every character arc is halfway through. Every mystery is only now opening. A24 doesn't build cliffhangers this sharp. Unless the next season is already part of the long-term plan, the release date isn't late. It's calculated, and when it finally drops, the window will fall exactly where the production timeline points: late 2026 to early 2027. Season 3 is coming. Not soon, not rushed, but big, chaotic, emotional, and powerful enough to shift the entire HAZBIN Hotel universe into its darkest and most explosive chapter yet. Season 3 isn't just building toward a release date, it's building toward a collapse. A collapse of secrets, a collapse of alliances, and a collapse of the balance between heaven and hell. And the first crack in that balance comes directly from Charlie's mother for 2 full seasons. The show treated her like a forbidden topic. Lucifer avoids her name, Charlie never speaks about her past. The entire royal family behaves like she's a danger just waiting to wake up. And that silence tells you everything. When a character is introduced through fear instead of dialogue, it's because their rival rewrites the rules of the entire world. Season 3 is preparing for exactly that. And this one storyline, the single cosmic figure, plays a huge role in why the production for Season 3 needs a larger window. Charlie reaching out to her mother is the most dangerous thing she's ever done. That call wasn't a reunion, it was a warning, a signal, a ripple, and once her mother answers, the show has to open the doors to a new layer of lore, one that requires entirely new environments, new character designs, new animation effects, and new world building. Whether her mother exists in a higher realm, a forgotten corner of hell, or a place outside the heaven-hell system altogether, Season 3 must explore it visually. That means bigger backgrounds, new lighting, expanded sound design, and a shift in tone. All of these creative changes demand time, more time than a standard season gap can offer. But while Charlie's mother will be the emotional center of Season 3, the world around her is collapsing at the same time. Heaven is spiraling, the leaders are losing control, the angels are breaking under pressure, and the exorcists, once precise, focused, and deadly, are now unstable, unpredictable, and on the edge of mutiny. Season 2 doesn't hide that, it shows it. The cracks in Heaven's stability have been widening episode by episode. And Season 3 is the moment everything erupts. Animating Heaven's downfall isn't simple. This isn't just one battle scene, it's full-scale war armies, skies full of wings, angelic weapons, light-based effects, and massive set pieces. That level of animation requires layered composition, coordinated choreography, and long render times. It's not just about action, it's about creating a celestial war that feels alive. At the same time, hell is shifting into something the series has never shown before. Fox's death creates a power vacuum so huge it shakes the entire hierarchy. With him gone, Valentino and Velvet are rising fast. And Season 3 has to show that rise with detail, tension, and style. Valentino's takeover is going to be brutal. Velvet's influence will be chaotic. Their control over media, surveillance, and information will tighten. And the show needs new animation assets to sell that world: screens, networks, corrupted environments, and new forms of digital chaos. Season 3 can't reuse old assets. It has to build new ones. And that adds more time to the release window. And then there's Angel Dust, arguably the most emotionally devastating storyline. Heading into Season 3, Episode 8 reveals that Vox hypnotized him into being a spy, stealing his autonomy, twisting his trust, and turning him into a weapon against the people who tried to save him. That one reveal doesn't just break Angel, it sets the tone for his entire Season 3 arc. He's carrying guilt, fear, anger, shame, and confusion. He's trying to rebuild trust with Charlie. He's trying to break free from Valentino's grip. He's trying to free himself from years of trauma that still haunt every step he takes. And Season 3 must animate all that pain: close-ups, trembling hands, silent breakdowns, emotional pauses, small but powerful character moments. Those scenes take time because emotional animation always demands more precision than action. Every expression matters, every look matters. And the team has to draw and redraw every detail until it hits the right emotional weight. Meanwhile, Alastor stands in the shadows, fully unchained for the first time in the series. No deals, no limits, no contracts, and that's terrifying because Alastor isn't predictable. And he isn't loyal, not even to Charlie. Season 3 has to show the full range of his power, and that means new animation styles, new effects, and new movements. His magic is chaotic and stylized, full of old radio textures, warped visuals, and supernatural energy. And now that he's free, Season 3 needs scenes that display his abilities at full intensity. That alone requires weeks, sometimes months, of animation work. And because Alastor is such a fan favorite, the studio can't afford for his scenes to look rushed. All of this leads to one conclusion: Season 3's release isn't delayed, it's building, layer by layer, story by story, animation by animation. Every single plotline introduced in Season 2 demands a larger, more explosive follow-up. And the production team needs the time to do it justice. Season 3 is shaping into the season where everything comes crashing down: heaven, hell, the hotel, the hierarchy, the lies, the secrets, and every fragile relationship holding the characters together. And as all those pieces fall, the release date shifts further into the window that supports that scale: late 2026 to early 2027. Season 3 isn't just preparing for bigger storylines, it's preparing for consequences that no character is ready to face. And the first consequence hits right at the heart of the show, the HAZBIN Hotel itself. What started as Charlie's idealistic dream, a way to save sinners, a way to prove hell can change, is now sitting at the center of a storm. The building is damaged, the trust between characters is shaken, and every enemy the hotel has ever made is circling closer. Season 2 ends by pulling every storyline straight into the hotel's walls. And Season 3 has to show the fallout. That means more interior scenes, more redesigns, and more emotional moments taking place within these broken halls. The hotel isn't just a setting anymore, it's a battlefield, a sanctuary, a target, and the emotional core of everything Season 3 will reveal. But the biggest threat coming for the hotel isn't physical, it's emotional. Because Charlie's decision to contact her mother didn't just open a new storyline. It opened a fear inside Lucifer that he's been hiding for thousands of years. Season 3 will push their relationship into new territory. Lucifer has been acting confident, acting in control, acting unbothered, but the moment Charlie mentions her mother, his entire demeanor cracks. And that tiny crack is the doorway into the deepest secrets of the royal family. Season 3 will explore what Lucifer has been hiding, what Charlie was never told, and why her mother was kept away from the world. These family secrets aren't small, they're world-altering. And the animation team will need entirely new visual elements to show the truth. Flashbacks, divine symbols, alternate realms, or hidden memories, each one requires new assets, new lighting, and new effects. Meanwhile, heaven's instability is about to explode into a storyline that finally answers the questions fans have been asking since Season 1. Who leads heaven? Why are the angels becoming unstable? What really triggered the war against hell? And why does Vaggy's past terrify her so much that she refuses to talk about it? Season 3 is the moment all those answers finally come to the surface. And with those answers come scenes that require expanded world building, new heavenly environments, new weapons, new hierarchies, and maybe even new angel designs that reflect the corruption spreading through heavens. Leadership's animating these new spaces isn't easy. Heaven is bright, detailed, symbolic, and full of supernatural energy. Bringing that to life takes more time than fans imagine. On top of all that, Valentino is preparing to become the most dangerous villain the show has ever had. Vox was a problem, sure, but Valentino is personal. He's manipulative, violent, unpredictable, and emotionally brutal. And now that Vox is out of the way, Valentino has nothing holding him back from going after Angel Dust with full force. Season 3 has to show this threat in a way that feels real, raw, and terrifying. That means scenes filled with tension, psychological pressure, shadow-heavy animation, and slow-burn danger. The show can't rush those visuals, they're too important to Angel's arc. And because Valentino is stepping into the spotlight as a main antagonist, the animation team will need new environments, his territory, his influence zones, and the places where his power expands. Now that Vox is gone, each one adds more time to production, but even more unpredictable than Valentino is Velvet. Season 2 barely scratched the surface of what she can do. But make no mistake, she is extremely dangerous. Her bubbly personality hides a violent, chaotic nature that the show has only teased. And Season 3 will finally reveal what she's truly capable of. Her powers are fast, energetic, neon bright, glitchy, and chaotic, all of which require complex animation. If she unleashes her full abilities, the show will need to animate scenes filled with distortion, fast movement, unconventional effects, and overwhelming visuals. And that means more animators, more detail, and more time. And right in the middle of all this chaos is Alastair, watching, listening, smiling. Now that he's free from any deal, Season 3 becomes the season where his true intentions finally surface. He could help Charlie, he could betray her, he could use the war between heaven and hell to gain power, or he could burn the entire system down just because he enjoys the chaos. Alastair's magic is one of the hardest things to animate in the entire series because of its vintage, glitchy, radio-inspired style. Now imagine that style at full power. Season 3 has to deliver those scenes with perfection, and perfection takes time. But the most shocking detail is this: every storyline in Season 2 was written to escalate into Season and 3, not to conclude it, not to slow it down, but to push it to its breaking point. The writers deliberately built Season 2 as the middle chapter, raising the stakes, revealing the lies, and exposing the true villains so that Season 3 could be the eruption that fans have been waiting for. And eruptions take time to animate, polish, and perfect. All of this leads to a single truth: the release date isn't just about production schedules. It's about scale. Season 3 is entering territory the show has never touched before. It's bigger, darker, heavier, more emotional, more dangerous, and more ambitious in every way. That ambition pushes the timeline toward the window that fits the story best. Late 2026 to early 2027, Season 3 is stepping into a place where every storyline, every secret, and every character collision finally comes to a head. And nothing shows that better than the way Season 2 ends with the hotel barely standing, Charlie shaking from what she's uncovered, and Hell's entire power system shifting under everyone's feet. That ending doesn't just tease the next season, it forces it. Every character is now locked into an arc that can't be delayed, ignored, or wrapped up without a massive payoff. And that payoff is what Season 3 is building toward, a chapter so big, so emotionally heavy, and so full of consequences that the show needs more production time just to deliver it properly. The biggest anchor of Season 3 is still Charlie's mother, because she is not just another character, she's the missing half of Charlie's identity. The unanswered question that shaped Lucifer and the threat heaven refuses to name out loud. For 2 seasons, the show has carefully avoided revealing anything about her because her appearance changes everything. And Season 3 will finally open that door wide once she steps into the story. Charlie's entire life becomes a ticking clock, her powers, her purpose, her destiny, none of it stays the same, and the show must animate this shift with new visuals, new styles, and new lore-heavy scenes that take longer to produce than anything in the previous seasons. But while Charlie's world expands, the world around her is falling apart. Heaven is at its breaking point, and Season 3 will push that collapse right into the forefront. The angels are unraveling, their leadership is corrupted. Their exorcists are acting out of desperation instead of duty, and that instability is what triggers the biggest threat yet, a full-scale confrontation between heaven and hell. Season 3 will likely show the first real celestial invasion, and that means massive war sequences, sky battles, divine magic effects, and multi-layered animation. That requires time, precision, and a larger production window. Fans won't just watch a battle, they'll experience the chaos of it. Meanwhile, Hell is facing its own transformation with Vox gone. Valentino and Velvet are rising to power like wildfire. Valentino brings a brutal, psychological edge to the show, one that digs deeper into trauma, control, and manipulation, and Velvet brings chaotic, flashy, unpredictable violence. Season 3 will show their takeover in detail, their influence spreading, their control tightening, their enemies falling. The show needs new environments, new power animations, and new sequences to sell their reign, and since these two are now stepping into the role of primary antagonists, every moment with them must hit harder, look sharper, and feel more threatening. And right in the middle of that rise is Angel, dust broken, exposed, and carrying the weight of a truth that nearly destroys him. Season 2's reveal that Vox hypnotized him, used him, and turned him into a spy is the most emotionally damaging moment of his entire arc. And Season 3 must animate the aftermath with detail and precision. Angel's breakdowns, his guilt, his attempts to rebuild trust with Charlie, his fear of Valentino returning, his fight to stand on his own for the first time. Animation teams must handle these scenes with careful expression work, subtle gestures, heavy lighting, and emotional pacing elements that take significantly more time than simple action. And while Angel tries to rebuild himself, Alastair becomes the biggest wildcard in the entire story. Now that he's free, Season 3 becomes his playground, his intentions, his loyalties, his ambitions, they all matter now more than ever. And because his magic is one of the most complex visual styles in the show, the moment he unleashes his full power, animators need to deliver scenes filled with distortion, vintage effects, glowing runes, radio-static visuals, and supernatural energy. Alastair's storyline alone demands weeks of work for seconds of screen time, simply because of how stylized and detailed his abilities are. But the final piece, the one that pushes Season 3's release date firmly into the late 2026 to early 2027 window, is the way Season 2 structures itself. It doesn't close chapters. It doesn't solve problems. It opens them. Every character is in transition. Every villain is rising. Every secret is finally cracking open. Season 2 wasn't meant to be an ending, it was meant to be the middle point of a much larger story. And Season 3 is where all those pieces snap together. And snapping them together takes time. The HAZBIN Hotel team isn't just making another season, they're building the biggest, darkest, most explosive part of the story, a season filled with celestial war, emotional breakdowns, family revelations, villain uprisings, and world-altering power shifts, a season that must look, sound, and feel more intense than anything the show has done before. And delivering that level of storytelling takes longer than a normal animation cycle. So when fans ask, why is Season 3 taking so long? The answer is simple: because it's being built to hit harder, look bigger, and change everything. And that's why the most realistic release window, and the one all the clues point to, is late 2026. to early 2027, Season 3 isn't delayed. It's loading. And when it drops, it will be the moment HAZBIN Hotel becomes something far bigger than anyone expected.